How much easier would it be to grow your business if you knew exactly what to say to customers to excite them about buying your product and get them to choose your product over your competitors every single time they made a purchase? Well, that's what you're going to learn in this video, because you can have exactly that. It just requires a little structure to how you approach your marketing. See, there's a reason why so many businesses struggle or even fail, and it almost always comes down to one key problem. They're saying the wrong thing to their customers. See, businesses get so caught up in talking about their features, their benefits, their innovations, their pricing, their promotions, or even getting caught up in the tactics that they're doing, that they wind up losing connection with what's actually important to their target audience. Simply put, they're so busy talking about what's important to them that they lose their buyer's attention because what they're saying becomes completely irrelevant. And when what you're saying is irrelevant to your customer, believe me, you're losing big time. The key to marketing success is respecting your audience's interests. See, marketing isn't about shouting the loudest or buying the most media. It's about making people care. And that requires that you actually know them and then can connect with them on what's actually important to them. The reality is most brands don't really know or care about their audience, even though they say they do. They're too focused on trying to sell them something. And so what they wind up doing is bombarding them with meaningless messaging that just pushes for a sale, pushes for a sale, pushes for a sale, and then hoping for the best. The brands that win are the ones that focus on connecting, not selling. Because when you prioritize connection over conversion, and when you genuinely consider what your audience wants and needs, you wind up creating messaging that's interesting to them, and therefore it works. The Super Bowl is a great example of what I'm talking about. Through the rest of the year, customers will avoid marketing like the plague, but on Super Bowl Sunday, a whopping 43% of people tune in just for the commercials alone. And it doesn't stop there. Customers don't just watch the commercials, they talk about them a lot. They talk about them with friends in the room. They talk about them via social with people they don't even know. They talk about them with coworkers the next day. And even more importantly, they buy, and they buy a lot. 50% of viewers make a purchase based on something that they saw during a Super Bowl commercial. And that translates to roughly 60 million purchases. So the question now is why does that happen? Well, the answer is because Super Bowl commercials do something that other commercials don't the other 364 days a year. They care. They care about who's watching, and they care about what's interesting to them. And then they tailor all of their messaging to those specific interests so that they know it is of value and that it entertains the viewer. Understanding how to connect with your audience starts with listening. Look, before you speak, listen. This is one of the most powerful strategies you can apply to your business, and it's one that your competitors are virtually guaranteed not to be doing. So the question then is what are we listening for? And the answer is one simple thing you can solve for your audience. Now, this is at the intersection of what you are most excited about as a business and what you do really well and where you're profitable that matches what your ideal target audience truly values. Now, this does not have to be innovative. It doesn't even have to be original. It doesn't have to be the cheapest or the most expensive. Those things are strategy questions, and they wind up coming later. It has to be something that you truly love doing or making or believe in. Bonus points if you can hit all three. That's the secret formula that makes it all work for businesses from Nike down. And if you're thinking that this sounds too simplistic to be true, I want you to stop and think about this. Volvo only sells safety. Porsche only sells performance. Disney only sells feeling like a kid again, and Nike only sells the promise of progress. Each of these powerhouse brands knows that the better they are at selling one thing, the more clearly their customers are going to see their value and ultimately choose them over everybody else because they know that they align with and will support that one thing long term. How can you learn what's important to your potential customers? Ask them. Traditionally, this included primary research, focus groups, internet surveys, etc., and that's still the most efficient and effective way to gather the information you need. We use this approach with our clients all the time. But what if you don't have the money for primary research like this? Don't worry about it. The internet has got you covered. See, social media has given us the ultimate free tool for understanding our audience. It's a real-time focus group at scale. Every comment, every post, every reaction, all of its data, and its insights, and its opportunity to adjust and improve your business. The process of gathering this data might take a little longer, but it's every bit as valuable and important and it's the perfect resource for an emerging brand on a budget. Look, regardless of how you get the information, the smartest and most successful brands are the ones that leverage these insights to create solutions and guide their sales and marketing. And that really brings us to the best way to market. And fortunately, there's a clear answer to this question: storytelling. All right, go back to the successful brands like Nike and Apple and Disney. What makes their marketing stand out so well each time they do it? The answer is, it's the stories that they tell. The reason that storytelling is so effective is because it's a fundamental part of how we communicate as people. And whether that communication is, sitting around a fire talking about hunting woolly mammoths, or whether it's on our phones via social media talking about the latest makeup trend, stories are how we share what's most valuable and important to us. It's how we find common ground and we identify who our people are, and it's how we come together. That doesn't change just because we happen to be communicating in a business environment either. Now, at one time, great storytelling was really limited to brands with bigger budgets, but not anymore. Each one of us holds a television studio in our hands every day through your cell phone, and social media has provided us with a host of channels on which to share our stories. There will always be a place for the higher production value Super Bowl spots, but it's not a requirement anymore. A great story can be shared anywhere by anyone who's willing to share it. Just look what Dollar Shave Club did with a single video that challenged two of the most established corporate giants in the world, Schick and Gillette, with a simple challenge to stop buying shave tech you don't need. Dollar Shave Club called, and $100 million of net new revenue business answered, stealing market share from those two corporate giants. It worked for them, and it can work for you too. You just have to be willing to put the pieces together. And remember, a great story is always going to find its audience. Even if you don't have a perfect strategy, as long as your message is authentic, it's going to resonate with the group that values the same things you do. And that brings us to the last piece of the puzzle, and maybe the most important, which is the power of patience in building your brand. We need to talk about patience because this is where so many businesses and emerging brands and people all get it wrong. Patience is not complacency. It's a competitive advantage. Most brands and entrepreneurs struggle with patience because they fear failure. They try to rush success because they're too focused on the success story rather than the success itself. But when you chase short-term wins, you wind up sacrificing long-term growth and impact. And if patience isn't part of your strategy, you're literally setting yourself up to fail. Success isn't about instant results or gratification. It's about sustained growth. That's where you need to put your attention. Want to know if your brand building efforts are working? Look at the results over time. When my team and I are helping businesses build their brands, we focus on the incremental achievements that total their big wins. Website traffic up, you're winning. Conversions up, you're winning. Revenue moving in the right direction, you're winning. There is no single silver bullet marketing tactic, strategy, or message that delivers overnight success, so stop looking for them. And the absolute sliver of true overnight success stories are so few and far between, they don't equate to 1% of 1%, so stop chasing that dream. If it happens, wonderful, but don't count on it. For nearly every successful brand on the planet, success is a game of inches. You have to outsmart, outwant, outwork, and outlast the competition. That kind of endurance is tough, especially if you keep resetting the clock every 5 minutes because you're too impatient to appreciate building your momentum. What you're actually doing is guaranteeing that you will fail by pushing you back to the starting line over and over and over again. Success is just like going to the gym. It takes time no matter who you are. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger started small. And this leads to the branding approach of playing the long game. To win, you really need to focus on playing the long game. The best brands don't think in terms of 90-day sprints. They think in terms of 90-year legacies. They build something that lasts. And ironically, when you take a long-term approach, you end up making more money because you're laying a rock-solid foundation instead of chasing stuff all the time. Want to know the best part? It doesn't stop with marketing. When you center everything you do on your one thing, it helps the entire team succeed. Sales knows what to say because they're no longer tied to the latest innovation, pricing, or promotion. The team knows how to be more proactive because they can easily understand the value the company provides to their customers and can start incorporating it into their individual departments or personal efforts. And product and service development always sees opportunity through the lens of the company's highest value to the customer, which keeps them laser focused rather than chasing things that don't really align with what the company stands for. So here's my challenge to you. Take this strategy and apply it beyond marketing. Apply it to how you do business, how you lead, how you connect with people. Apply it to everything. Because when you show up with care and when you truly listen and when you build with patience, you don't just grow a brand, you create a movement. If you want to know more or have questions, feel free to reach out to me. You can book a free discovery call, send an email. I'm happy to respond to DMs. My goal here is to make sure that you have access to the information you need to start incorporating this kind of listening into messaging, into storytelling that will grow your business.